Thank you very much, sir, for the kind introduction and also inviting once again for your very, valuable course and very popular course, as Amar sir already said, not only in India, abroad as well. Sharing the dais with all these luminaries is always a pleasure and also make us humble and try to learn different things, and keep us on our toes. Coming to management of dropped IOLs, I will be sticking my talk only to dropped IOLs. A couple of pointers which we have learned and we still learning, though it's one of the rare complications, but it has to be handled in a very proper way. No financial interest in my talk, but a couple of things before we start thinking or talking about this is, first thing is, all of us, whether you do cataract, you do retina, whatever it is, you have to be very, very well versed with something called as a bimanual vitrectomy. That means what the importance Amar sir highlighted, your both hands had to work together in conjunction, whether you are trying to take out the IOL, you are trying to rotate the IOL, you are trying to maneuver anything into the anterior chamber per se. Both the things, sorry, 1 minute. So both your hands, right and left hand, has to work in coordination, in sync, I will say. So once you have a problem, as you can see here, there is a large PC tear. Don't try to do anything. Try to use a bimanual vitrectomy system in which you separate the cutter as well as the infusion. So once you do that, one is your infusion is much more controlled. There is a good tamponade on the vitreous, and you have a very controlled environment to doing the vitrectomy. Make sure that your vitrectomy probe, the tip of the vitrectomy cutter faces towards the vitreous and not towards the pupillary side or towards the corneal endothelium. So in this, you are going to cut very, going to cause very less damage on the vitreous face, and also try to be always in the center. This is a very important point. Don't try to be at the edge of the side port. Try to be in the center of the pupillary axis. And never try to do this through a main port. Always suture your main port and secure it. So this is one tip which I wanted to share. All of us, whichever segment you operate, apart from oculoplasty, we have to be very, very well versed with your machine, with your bimanual vitrectomy system. Don't try to make these mistakes. As Amar sir rightly pointed out, putting the wrong lens in wrong place. Putting the lenses in anterior chamber, it's okay, but it's olden technique. Nowadays, we don't do it. And then putting one more lens which has gone behind. When you have a complication, either you can manage on your own or call your VR colleagues, and they will be help you out. They will be able to help you out. But never try to put, try to avoid this kind of complications. As you can see in this case, we explanted 3 IOLs from a single eye. So never ever do these things. The more damage you cause to the iatrogenic damage you cause to the eye, the poorer are the outcomes. So never do that. Sometimes even in experienced hands, when you have long OT list and all, sometimes you become careless. So this is one thing which I have learned over a period of time watching masters also. Speed doesn't matter much, but your carelessness attitude or your carelessness at any stage of the surgery, as you can see here during this procedure, the surgeon not even realized that there is a PCR and the lens has gone behind. Again, you can take out this lens at this particular sitting, but the important point take home message is just avoid your carelessness attitude. Always be very, very careful. As you can see here, this again, one more IOL has gone into the vitreous cavity, which can be easily avoided. And when you have a compromise, anatomy here, your surgical maneuvers have to be more than perfect. So what everyone has to learn now is what we are advocating, and all the masters are advocating. Even Abhay Vasavada sir, who popularized this technique, is something called as a vitrectomy, which you want to do in the anterior chamber. That means we want to take out the vitreous from the anterior chamber, but you use a pars plana approach. So as what you can see here, we have put though this was a secondary stage procedure, but there is a pars plana infusion here. This is a 25 gauge vitrectomy system on Alcon. But nowadays, good 23 and 25 gauge vitrectomy systems are available with all the machines. So you don't have to pick and choose about the machine. But what we have to learn here is, when you're trying to cut even the vitreous from the anterior chamber, rather than going from the limbal route, which is not that control, you go from the pars plana route. And this can be just 2-port incision. We don't have to put the third port. The third port, normally the VR surgeons use as a light source. So you don't have to do that. As what we are doing here is, there are 2 ports. What you see here, this is an infusion port, and this is a port for your vitreous cutter. We have taken this into high zoom. That's what is not so visible, just to show you the importance of how you controlled atmosphere is there when you are cutting the vitreous from the back. So there are 3 major advantages. One is you are not causing any traction on the vitreous face and also on the vitreous base. When you take your cutter from behind, you can come into any zone. You can be at the pupillary edge, you can be in the center. So you are cutting the vitreous at a much in a safer manner, and also you can clean up all the wounds quite thoroughly. So these are the major advantages. At any stage, whenever you are in doubt, you can always stain the vitreous with diluted triamcinolone acetonide to help you to aid, to assist things further. As what you see here, we are gone with a high speed cut rate with the lower suction here, and the infusion is there. You can do handshake technique or whichever technique you want to apply here. The only point I wanted to add, as been rightly pointed out by Sujata Madam and Amar Sir, whenever you're doing a handshake technique, make sure the pressure in your right hand and left hand, whenever you're trying to rotate these IOLs or CTR rings, is equal. The problem occurs when the counter pressure is not equal in your both hands. That time only you will be breaking this haptics, and this is by experience. We have done these mistakes. So always advise that the counter pressure in your right hand and the left hand is the trick here. So make sure that you don't repeat that. And then what you see here, all the vitreous is cut in a very clear manner, and then you can take it forward. So this is what I wanted to say, that rather doing an anterior approach, that is a limbal approach, all of us here, anterior segment surgeon or a posterior segment surgeon, whichever way you are operating, should not hesitate to shift your horizon if you have a problem which needs an anterior vitrectomy. Rather than doing a limbal approach, go to a pars plana zone. Most of the glued IOL surgeons who are doing it, they are already using an infusion cannula for the same, and you can use one more port so that the cutter is in much more secured environment. Couple of points where to take out these IOLs. Yes, we need to take out in different situations. Nowadays, we don't do it. As Amar Sir rightly pointed out, we try to fix this IOL. But this kind of a hydrophilic and hydrophobic, both IOLs, they are quite slippery. In this case, what you can see here, never attempt to fish out these IOLs. The primary surgeon tried to do that, but I always advise, don't do that. Once the IOL has gone back, let it go back. Complications can occur in best of hands. You don't have to worry about it. Still, if all the steps are taken correctly and the procedure has been done well, this patient will have a 6/6 vision. So the important thing here is not to touch this IOLs till the time you get a good posterior vitreous detachment and debulking of the vitreous. Once you do that, these IOLs are very slippery, as has been highlighted by Dr. Ashwin. Either you can use the suction from the machine, but it is little tricky. You need to be little well versed for using the posterior segment instruments, or always catch hold of the optic haptic junction. Never try to attempt to catch these IOLs at any other place. This optic haptic junction give you some kind of a stability, so try to catch these IOLs at the optic haptic junction, and then you can take it out quite easily. Rigid IOLs are very tricky to take it out from the eye. As in this patient, what you can see here, the rigid IOL has fallen, and also not fallen clearly on the surface of retina. It is lying vertical. So again, there is a danger here. The moment you cause any kind of undue traction on the surface of retina, is going to go for major breaks over the surface of retina, and you might end up with a retinal detachment, which can be iatrogenic. So we have to be very, very careful. Always try to free these intraocular lenses, of any kind of vitreous which is available, which is present there, and then only try to touch this IOL. If the IOL falls back on the surface of retina, it doesn't matter. Let it fall back. It will always fall back slowly. But important thing is here is, even if you are removing CTR or IOL, one is your handshake technique has to be good. The second important thing is, removal of CTRs is very tricky. It is not as easy as removal of IOLs. Intraocular lenses can be removed in an easy manner. But whenever you have a CTR, either which is there in the ciliary sulcus or ciliary body area or gone back, it's very tricky. It is very, very slippery. So most often or not, you will have to use a handshake technique, and never attempt to take these structures out of the eye unless and until there is a good amount of vitreous which has been separated out. So that means a good vitrectomy plays a very vital role. Couple of other iatrogenic things we should avoid. This primary surgeon was overzealous and stained the vitreous cavity as well. So it is very tricky for us to visualize during this kind of a procedure. Even for a VR surgeon, the view will not be very great. So try to avoid, as I am catching it at optic haptic junction, which is a tip I gave it to you. You can do that. Fairly easy technique, and then also try to maneuver this lenses. Very challenging situations when you have either retinal detachment or a vitreous hemorrhage associated with a dropped IOL. We need to be little patient here. try to, do again the importance here is induction of posterior vitreous detachment, then only touch these IOLs and take them out. This was a hybrid vitrectomy. That means one port was 20 gauge. This was slightly older video, so just wanted to highlight the importance of managing these lenses, or even try to take these lenses out of the eye unless and until there is a good amount of vitreous which has been taken out. One more case where we trying to do a posterior vitreous detachment in a very hazy cornea. This was a misty cornea, but we cannot do much, more than what we can decompress the corneal epithelium. So try to preserve even corneal epithelium. But the trick here is try to do what we call as multi-quadrant PVD induction. That means don't try to do PVD induction only in one zone. You can go 1 clock hour by 1 clock hour as you complete your capsular axis the same way, and then only catch these IOLs at the optic-haptic junction and try to take it out. Pediatric cases are also tricky. Where this was a planned PCCC case where you can see such a nicely done PCCC, but again the surgeon was not very careful and injected the IOL into the vitreous cavity. So don't be show a carelessness attitude. Be little careful. Do all these maneuvers little slowly and with good visualization. Always we have seen either you are little careless or the visualization is poor. That means you're not able to focus well. So unless and until you are visualizing it well, we cannot do these procedures to the T what has to be done. One of my last videos in which, as I said, endocapsular ring or any kind of other kind of segment, this was a patient who had a reticent implant which dislocated inside. Very, very tricky case. We need to break this into sometimes into little segments, or whenever we are trying to remove it, you can see here there is so much of slippage here. The reticent was not getting caught at all. So we need to be a little patient not to cause any damage to the underlying surface of the retina, and try to take these implants with utmost caution. One of my last videos with Dr. Sujata, always a pleasure talking, not only talking, operating with her. She was, we had a patient who had a dropped lens. The entire nucleus had been dropped with the first chop itself. There was no capsular support at all, what you can see here. So what we did was slightly reverse approach. We first did a glued IOL. As you can see here, she is doing a glued IOL, which has been done to the perfection. And even the lens was implanted. The lens was, even the haptics were externalized. Only the infusion cannula was there in place. And once she finishes her part of the surgery, even intravitrectomy was done to the to perfection. And then only we went ahead with vitrectomy after putting the trocar cannulas. And what you see here is the entire lens with the capsular bag, nucleus with a capsular bag, and we did a removal of this nucleus. And at the end of surgery, very nice, stable glued IOL. And this glued IOL is a game changer, I would say. So a lot of things we are learning. However, managing complications is not
Dr. Manoj.
Finish. Careful assessment.
To say that. We have precised 18 minutes left, and I think we have.
No, we have one more speaker. I think we are going on time. Don't worry.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Himai.
So careful assessment is very tricky and has to be done thoroughly. Planning of the surgery, understanding principles of management involved, and teamwork is the way to go forward. My acknowledgements here, right from Amar sir to Nivian, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience.